Okay, so you can deconstruct every stereo file into its mid portion and its side portion. Mid portion is all the sounds that are dead center, that are mono, meaning that they are equal on the same speaker. So kick is mono and it's equally loud on both speakers. So this is mid information. Side information are all the sounds that are not in the center and they are slightly off. So with the help of this free plugin, you can listen only mid information, meaning only mono, or only side information. So if we listen to the side, it sounds like that. Everything else is mono. So this low tone, or whatever we call it, was not here before. So this is a small sound that you would normally ignore. You wouldn't notice that actually something happened. But if you are producing, you know, aha. So after the breakdown, he adds a really discrete sound which adds the groove and makes the pattern a little bit different, and it puts it that loud that you actually don't notice it. Conscious, I mean, you unconscious, can't say it. Consciously, you cannot notice it. Unconsciously, you can notice it. And this is again a trick, how to put these small sounds, and you are building a loop to become bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you would be listening to the song, you would say, okay, nothing seriously happened, but it did. So what else can we hear in the side? All the reverbs. And we can hear this stereo kick, which is at the beginning of the song, and the stereo effect on the vocals. So this is just stereo information. Here is the reverb that I was talking about. Because it's stereo, you can hear it in the stereo field. No more kick. So at the beginning we had stereo kick, and when the real kick kicks in, it's a different sample. So for the beginning of the song there is one sample, for the end, for the real part of the song is another sample. And you didn't notice that. You think that it's the same kick. And these are the production secrets, when, in a way that song is constantly evolving and changing. And it's actually, I thought that it's filtered, but it's not. Obviously, from what I heard now, it's one kick sample at the beginning of the song, but when the real song starts, it's another sample. Plus this conga. Sound that functions as an open hi-hat, which is not again present here. And maybe it's you will find all this like really, I don't know, too much, that I'm complicating. But sincerely, this is the best learning experience and the best way to be self-critical. Because when you will analyze and listen to a track like that in all these fashions, you will have full papers of data. And then when you are done with the process, you take your best production, the track that you think it's really the best you did, and you do the same process. Or you ask a friend, it's maybe even better, to make an analysis of your track for you. And you will be shocked, usually, even I am, how much info is in a track like that if you compare it to your own production. That means that your own production doesn't have as many building blocks as something that is #1 on Beatport. That means that you don't work hard enough and that you don't pay attention to detail. So your songs should be more detailed, have more elements, even though those elements are they are kind of a hidden elements. You actually don't hear them. They make a huge difference. Okay, questions? How many of you hear what I am telling you? Because it's difficult to hear, especially in this room, and it's also difficult to sense these differences if you don't have experience. I mean, I do that for so many years, and I did so many tracks that I know what to listen or what to look for. But if you don't know, you have to learn. This is a part of a knowledge that you need to have if you want to produce quality techno. And if you are not doing it that way, you will, I mean, some people don't know anything about it and they don't analyze tracks, but they just know that something is wrong with their tracks. And will work for so long that they will make it right without analysis. I'm a person that does it in that way. Okay, if I don't know how something works, let's deconstruct it to its building blocks and I will figure out how it's put together. I mean, same story. Chinese, they buy BMW, Volkswagen, Mercedes, they tear it apart to the smallest part, copy it and build another car. Because they know from what kind of parts it's built. I mean, they do that with everything, basically. This is how it's done. And you are not stealing. You are not copying. You are just educating yourself, and you will never be able to copy somebody's work. Because I'm sure that I can do a production which is on the same level as this one in terms of complexity, but I cannot recreate that track. Even if I would try to make it completely the same, it is impossible. Because I don't know what sounds were used. I can get very, very close. And a lot of producers in electronica work that way. They put a track they like into arrangement and then they just copy it step by step, which is also good because after some time you will figure out that you don't need the track that you will copy because you figured out the formula. And this is one option to the actual analysis. And when you do an analysis, you can use this arrangement as your starting point for your songs, if you like. Nothing wrong with it. Everything is cut, everything is in bars. When you label it with colors, you know what is the structure. And you can copy the structure, but you will definitely create a different song. Okay. Let's go further. Okay, so transition again. Marker, color, and we say that this is, I don't know, verse 2. So hi-hat is slowly coming in. And there is some reverb on hi-hat that is also increasing in volume before the actual transition. Let's do it again. Hit the reverb. And we have a breakdown again. And if something is unclear, or if something is unclear on the low end, why do you check that? because you may miss something. Maybe there would be a transition and the kick would be programmed differently. And you want to know that if there are some transitions in the song that you are not aware of. Okay, let's remove that. And we have one clap. And there is some additional sound coming in which is filtered. It's low pass filter on EQ or on, it can be a synth filter, it can be a typical classical EQ. Heard this record stop sound. So this is additional transition. The last kick was kicked out. So if we listen to it like that, so one kick is missing at the end, and you get this sound and you get a transition. And the clap came in. Is this the same clap as the previous one here?
Maybe it was just on reverb.
It's the same clap, the only difference is that this one here has some sort of a non-linear gated reverb. But it's not important. Short reverb, which will just make something stereo. I know how to call it, because when you use that, you know how it sounds. So this is just the reverb on clap. If you go to side, because you know that the sound is stereo, you will try to check it out. How do you know it's stereo? You can have additional free plugin from Flux, STT tool, which is a stereo tool. But I'm having, okay. So you can see that when clap hits this ball, becomes really, really wide. The wider the ball, the more stereo the sound. If we are looking just to the kick will be straight vertical line. That means that it's center panned. If the kick is panned to the left, the line will go to the left. If it's panned to the right, it will go to the right. It's actually so-called Ligeot meter, goniometer, XY meter, whatever. This is, if you learn how to read it, is really, really important tool because you can see things that you can't hear in terms of stereo. So this is a free plugin, and it's a bit slow, but it's functional. I mean, I have a hardware meter in the studio, but when I'm working on laptop, I'm using that if needed. Okay, so it's the same clap. The only difference is that only in this part there was a reverb automated on that clap, so we get a transition effect. So you can see also, I mean, I noticed that this tick 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 sound has a different shuffle now than it had before. So the shuffle of this main synth sound, it's constantly changing. And you can do that. You just automate it in any workstation. And you don't notice that. And you will program a sound, I mean, in the case you want to copy a song like that, and it will never function as it is functioning here, because here it's constantly changing. But these changes are really, really minimal, so you don't notice them like immediately. But if you listen to the song, it is constantly evolving. And all good productions have these subliminal sounds going on underneath all the time.